Welcome to MacroCode. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to proceed with our help desk management system. So as you can see here, we have our login screen. So I'm going to sign in. So I'll just click sign in. So this will take us to the dashboard. So as you can see, we have the number of tickets per status, and this is the pie chart. We have the bar graph here. We also have the tickets based on priorities and also the pie chart and the bar graphs. So then you can see down here, we have our tickets. So you have the number of tickets, that is the number series, the title, description, priority statuses, and you can see it is actually based on various colors. Then you have the created by, created on, and the number of comments. So you can see the number of comments based on these tickets, and you can actually click on comments and see those comments. So on the sidebar, you're able to see that you have the recent tickets, assigned tickets. So this has been grouped based on the statuses, resolved tickets, closed tickets. You also have the ticket comments. Then you also have the ticket categories. So you can add new categories and you can always tie them to subcategories. So you can see we have the subcategories. Then you have the audit rates. So everything we are doing in the system is being tracked. So you see these are all list of audits, and the action type can be create, closed. This depends on what the user has done. So you can also check on some of the values that has been modified. For example, this is an update. We have the old values, the new values, the affected columns, and even the primary key. So we also have the error log. So in case of an error, you're able to see some of the errors that users are encountering before even they are able to report it to you. Then you have the system users. So these are all the users within the application. And now here, on our previous video, we were able to change and actually allow the users to change their password. So you can see you can click on change password, provide the password, and confirm password. So on our next series, we'll actually be providing a way for you to generate a one-time password for the users, so which will actually be random. So then we have the system codes. So here, this is where we are grouping our options. For example, gender. So this is a group. Then for the system code details, we have the individual options. For example, now like male and female, and now the options under the system code called gender. Then you have our system roles. So you can add new roles to the system. So each of the users, when you are creating a user here, you need to tie them to a role. So you can see this is the role, and you're able to add those roles under system roles. Now, when we are adding users, you tie users to roles, but now these roles are now assigned to rights. So if you come to system roles, you assign the rights to the role. So if you click assign rights, then you're able to see the rights that the user has been assigned. So you can actually select some of the roles here, and you can assign them different rights. For example, like network administrator or ICT technician. So you can see they don't have any rights. So you can always select all the rights, and you can save the changes. So if you do that, then the rights are assigned to the user, and you can see everything is selected. And you can always unselect some of the rights that you have and save the changes, so the system will actually update. So you can see these rights are now not selected. Then you have the departments. So as you can see on the departments, you can add new department in the system. You can also add the system tasks. So the system tasks here are now what you see on the system rights. So you see these tickets: create, view, delete, assign. So these are now the system actions. So you can add new actions, which maybe it is a that is a module or sub module, or even an activity that the user needs to do. For example, viewing, deleting. So that's how you do that. Then user profile, these are all the rights now that has been assigned to certain roles. So for example, the finance manager can see they're able to see dashboards, tickets, comments, ticket categories. So you're able to see just at a glance. Then you have the system settings. So these are all the settings for the system. For example, the password expiry, the ticket resolution dates. You're able to set them here instead of add coding. Then you have the countries. You can add new country. And whenever you add countries, you can always tie them to cities. So on our application here, you're able to see we have now the cities. And from the countries, you can access the cities. So you can see these are the cities. So on our previous video, we were able to add rights to roles. So I want us today to address one thing that we left out. So from the roles sides, you can assign rights to roles. For example, for this particular user, I can actually unselect, this role is actually software So let me just do software developer. So for the software developer, I can limit them the rights to see tickets and maybe comments. So if I limit that and save changes, then I log out. So the rights will only apply after I log out. So if I log out and log in, you'll notice that I don't have the tickets here. And I also, my comments are not there. So if I go back to, so you see we don't have the tickets where we were able to see the resolved tickets, the closed tickets, and all those. So if I go back to system roles and under software developer, then I just click and rights. So for example, tickets and comments, save the changes. Then if I just sign out, so let me just log out. So if I log out and log in again, you'll realize that I have my tickets here. So I have the recent tickets, assigned tickets, and closed tickets. So I want to show you something. So if I click on assign tickets, you'll realize that we have a URL here called tickets, then assign tickets. So if I copy that URL and just go to our system roles, then assign rights, and I deny this particular role the tickets and comments access, then I save. Then if I log out, let me just log out. If I log out, then we need to work on that. So if I just sign in, you'll realize that we don't have the tickets and the comments. So it has been denied. It has been actually hidden from the user. But if the user tries to put in the URL that we just copied, and you can see they are able to access the tickets. So these are the assigned tickets. So we don't have the assigned tickets on this other end, but when we put the URL, then we are able to access it. So I want us to deny the users, even if they know the URL, they should not be able to access those particular links. So that is what I want us to do today. So if I just click on dashboard, you see we don't have the assigned tickets, but if I just put in the URL, then that is done. So for those who have been watching this video, how did we limit the rights on this other, that is the sidebar menu? So if you go to our code under the side, that is the shared layout, so you'll notice that at the top here, we've been actually getting our claims. So you see, can view ticket, this is what we added, can view comment, can view categories, can view subcategories, audit, users. So all these actions, we are actually checking them here. Then on our sidebar menu, we were doing, so we were checking if, so for example, if can view dashboard, if you have the right to view dashboard, then we give you that particular right. So if you can view the ticket, then we give you the tickets. So for example, you see we have the recent ticket, assigned tickets, resolved tickets, and the closed tickets. So from our what you have just demonstrated, it means we don't have this particular right here, can view ticket. But when the users put in the URL, they are able to see that. So you see on our, this is now how we demonstrated and actually hide some of the navigation sidebar. But now I want us to control even the actions and even the controllers. So if you come and see how we implemented our program, that is our permissions, you'll realize that we have two important classes. So we have this, what we added here, add authorization. We have our policy called permission. Then we had a permission authorization requirement. Then you also have something called my user claim. So where is it? So we have it here. So we have here something called my user claim principal. So if you don't have these two, ensure that you have it. So I have my user claim principal, and we have our cookie, and we have our authentication schemes here. So the next thing is whenever what we did on our add new permission under permission authorization requirement. So this is where we are going to base our video today. So you realize that we added attribute authorization handler. Then we have retrieve the attributes associated with the current endpoint, and we need to check. So if you come down here, we have the authorization happening. So if you have the permission, then it should actually give you access. But if you don't have, you should actually be denied. So what we need to do now, we are going to demonstrate this with one of our controllers. For example, let's just go to the cities controllers. So I want us to add permissions here. So how do we do that? So we'll just do that way. Then we just do permission. Then I want us now to provide the permissions. So remember our permission, we have cities, then we do view. So this cities is the parent and this is the right. So if you come back to our shared layout, you'll realize that we've been doing parent child. So this is the audit view, users view, system codes view, roles view, cities view. So this is now the policy that we need to now ensure that you have the cities view full column view, and this is the cities full column view, and this pipe we actually the pipe symbol we actually define that on my user claim principle. So on my user claim principle, you'll realize that we had a class called generate claims async, and you are able to define the user permissions, and this is where we were passing our pipe and we were adding the permission. So if you go now, let's just go to now our cities. So we need to add this, and one thing that we need to also do, we need to ensure that our user is authorized. So this is what we need to do. So if we do that on the controller, we can always even put it on the action. So you see here on the cities view. So if I just go and relaunch our app, if we had done everything well on our tickets, that is our permission authorization handler, this permission authorization handler is now what it handles all the permissions for us. So if we had done everything okay here, then we should it should ensure that anyone with the permissions for cities should now be able to access the link. Even if you pass the link, you should not be able to access it unless you are given that particular permission. So you can see for now, I don't have the cities, that is the tickets rights. But if I click cities, you see it is actually telling me access denied. But you see here on this other sidebar, I have the cities here. So that means there's something wrong with our application. So if I just do cities, it is giving me as access denied. So that means we have an issue with our authorization handler, and that is what we need to address to ensure that we are able to use it on our controllers and everywhere. So what I want us to do now is I want us to define some items. So let's just go to our permission authorization. So here on this particular bit, I want us to do one thing. So I want us to come here and introduce, so we have authorization handler. I want us to introduce something. I think we missed something here. I want us to introduce a constructor. So for authorization handler, then here, I want us to say, so I want us to define private, then read only, then let me just zoom so that you're able to see. Read only HTTP context, sorry, should be HTTP context accessor. So that is it. Then have it on our constructor here. Then we can call it context accessor. Then we need to assign it here. So that is it. So since we have that, we'll actually get an error on down here. So we also need, so let's just go from the top. So we have our attribute authorization handler, HTTP context accessor. So the next thing is we need to have to handle something here. I think this is where we have an issue. So if you follow the permission authorization handler that you have, you realize that these attributes are actually giving you 0. So what we need to do, I want us to define a list here of permission attributes. So I'll just do list. So I'll do list. Then I say attributes. Then I say here new. So we just do new. So we can do new list or we can just say new. So that's okay. So after doing that, I want us to do something. So I want us to say variable. So we need to get all the actions. So it'll be HTTP, that is the context accessor. Then you can do .http context. Then we need to say get endpoint. So we need to get all the endpoints. So this one is not giving us the endpoints. And if you check on that particular method, I think it is, where is it? So this one, you see this endpoint? It's not giving us all the methods. So we are going to remove this. So I want us to remove that. And I want us also to remove this line of code here. So we just use get endpoints. Then we say dot. So we do dot metadata. So once we do that, then this will give us all the actions. So our permissions, so we need to say now variable all permissions equals to, we need to cast this to permission attribute. So we'll say permission attribute, then actions. So we need to remove that. Then we need to say dot find first or default. Then we need to do x dot get type. So if we do that, so that's a method, then you can close it that way. So this is how we are going to do it. So first of the default get type, then equals to, so this get type, we can actually say dot full name. So equals to, so you can say equals to, you can do here, we can even say, we can do it this way, can pass this as a string. So if we do that and remove this, then everything is okay. So now, what I want us to do now is these permissions here, all permissions, we need to add it to our list here. So we need to say permissions dot add, then we add all the permissions. So these permissions now, we need to pass the attributes down here on the handle requirement async. So we'll pass them here. But remember, we have already passed, but this is giving us an error. That means if we go to this particular function, which is down here, we need to change this to permission attribute. So if you do that, permission attribute, then this error goes away. Then you'll notice that you have an error down here. So we'll just scroll down. Then you'll see we have this also, permission authorization handler. So we'll just introduce a constructor here as well. So we just put in a CTO. So then if we just introduce the constructor, then we have our, then we need to have our HTTP context. So I'll just do here HTTP context accessor. Then I need to have my context accessor there. Then what I can do here is just to say base, then you can have it that way. So this one I can remove these brackets here. Then we have our application that way. So this one now will have addressed the issue that we had of our endpoints were not being found. And that's why we've been having access denied. You see, we've been having access denied, yet we are able to access the cities from this other end. So what we need to do now, I want us to relaunch the app. And if we relaunch the app, remember under the controller called cities, we have the cities view permission. So that permission, we should now be able to use it because we have the access. So if I just sign in, and so let me just sign in. So remember, when we click the cities for the first time, we were given the permission access denied. So if I click now, you see it is actually giving us an object permission attribute name. So what I'll do, let's just go back here. I want us to remove something. So I want us to remove this. Let's just do here. If we do that, equals to, then we do type of. So let's just do this type of permission attribute. Then we have our permission attribute, and this is added. Then if you come back here, we should actually check that we are having everything is there, all is well. Then we should now check. So if we just relaunch our app again, we should not be able to. So you can actually modify this one instead of passing so you just do permission action attribute first or default, get type, type permission attribute. So if we just sign in, then we go to the cities, then you should be able to access the cities. So for example, we say cities. So you see, it has actually accessed our cities. So assuming we add something here, for example, on our cities controller, we say here testing. So we just say here testing. So this is a policy, this is a right that it doesn't exist actually. So if you add something there that doesn't exist, so we should be able to add it. We should be able to get access denied. So let's just see if that works. So if we launch the app and we access the application, just go to the cities and click cities. So you see, we have the access denied. So that means that right is not there. So we don't have that particular permission. So if you just go back to our controller now, we have that particular permission and we've added authorize. So you'll realize that we now have our cities there and we are able now to access it. So I want us to test with one of the controllers. So for example, if I have, assuming I have let me just go to the permissions. So I want us to go to system roles. Then for the developer, I want to deny them the permissions for cities. So you see here, I'm going to uncheck that, then save it. Then once we do that, we can always log out. So if we sign in, we realize that we don't have cities. So, but what we can actually access cities here. So let's just do cities. Let's just put in the URL cities. So if we click cities, you see it is being redirected to access denied. So you can always find a different page that you can always custom and allow the users to see. So currently we cannot access the cities, but if we go to system roles and a software developer, then we assign them the cities rights, then save the changes and we log out. Then if we sign in, we should see the cities here. And as well, if we click it, we are able to access the cities. So now you cannot access our applications through there. So the next thing is we need to always authorize our controllers. So you can just do authorize. So this one will always now add all those authorization. So the next thing is, for example, tickets. If you go to tickets, what we were testing, if we go back here, I can just paste these now on the controller, and now on the layout we can actually reuse. So if you can see can view ticket, this is the right here. So you need to have the right on the tickets controller. I'll just add it on the controller here, and you can also now pick this, and maybe if you have different permissions, you can always add it on the actions, for example this one and any other. So if we now try to access our tickets the same way we were passing URLs, then you should not be able to see that particular tickets. So let's just see. So if we go here and try to click there, so if I try to access tickets, so tickets, I'm passing the URL. If I click as tickets, you'll notice that it is now giving me access denied. And you can see on the URL, I don't have the tickets. So if I go to system roles and assign rights, then I give myself now tickets and comments, save the permissions and log out. So if I just log out and sign in back, you'll see I have my tickets here. So I'm able to access the tickets. And if I click recent tickets, then I'm able to see my tickets. If I click assign tickets, I'm able to see the tickets. Resolve tickets, I'm able to see them because I have the permission. So I think that is it for today. I wanted to show you how you can actually add those permissions. So what you'll need to do now is to add the permissions in every, for example, like comments, you need to authorize here. So authorize, and also put in the permissions for viewing the tickets, so the comments. So you can always check that from your claim. For example, mine is comments, then view. So if I just come here, I'll just do comments view. So you can add it at the top of the controller, or in case the rights are different, someone can be having the view, they don't have the approval, then you'll add them on the action. So for example, under index, you'll add those particular permission. So that is it for today. I wanted us to just check on how that is assigned. So if you're new to this channel and you like what you're doing, comment down below, subscribe for our channel. And also, in case you want to buy us coffee, you can always buy us coffee and even share something to us, which actually goes a long way in ensuring that we post more of these videos and also help you learn more. So that is it, and see you in our next episode. Bye.